That's right, it just happened. The tariffs on steel went live yesterday, and this is going to be me sharing what happened, how it impacts small business owners and business owners in the United States, how it's impacted us, my company, and what we are already doing about it, because we are making some drastic measures. But I'm going to share with you first what has happened, what the impact could be, and then share with you from that. So bottom line up front is that tariffs went from 25% to 50% on all incoming tariffs in the United States, except for the UK. They were left out of it. Outside of that, that's been the biggest change. It's going to really drastically impact Canada and Mexico, who are the biggest trading partners and who supply most of the raw materials to the US. This is going to really impact manufacturers, US trading partners, and small businesses, and it's going to impact consumers quite a bit. There are ongoing trade talks, so I'm going to talk about that later as they come about, but this is what's happening right now, boots on the ground, as of yesterday. Prices are going to go up on all of our supplies. This has already happened, and I'm going to get into how it's impacting us directly next. But if we don't do anything about it, we're going to be immediately hit super hard coming a few days from now. So manufacturers are going to get hit the hardest. Right now, our raw materials generally come from Canada and Mexico, and they are up to a 50% tariff. The purpose of this is to safeguard national interests and also to safeguard steel workers and their jobs. That remains to be seen. Hopefully our steel making industry comes back and we can invest in some foundries and some smelting operations to make more steel. But in the meantime, manufacturers who also need and depend on those raw materials are going to really, really feel the impact. This is directly going to affect most business owners, any businesses, any of your suppliers, too deep. So any of your suppliers that depend on US raw imports. So small-time manufacturers, fabricators, machine shops, this is going to really impact them. Like for instance, real estate or sign making or auto manufacturers. So we're a teeny tiny company, and here's how it's already impacting us. We get a call from our contractor, and they basically said, hey, Hugh, you guys need to buy the building materials because on Tuesday, the prices are going up by 19%. And so that was from their supplier, who's a manufacturer, and that manufacturer is getting their steel from the open market, which is directly impacted by these tariffs. So we are third order effect. The US consumers are going to feel this. We are pulling a line of credit from the bank, and we are going to be buying a building before we need it, because that's going to save us $25,000. So we're building a structure. Each building, there's 300 grand, about $100,000 for the self-storage unit. That is the cost of the raw materials and goods themselves, and they are going up, and there's nothing we can do about it. So we are pulling our line of credit to go purchase it to save ourselves $20,000. That means that we're going to be paying interest on the additional amount, but it's going to kick off our need to get that project completed, because we are paying on that debt while the building doesn't exist and is not being built yet, and we have no way to generate income from that. Now, this was just pushing our hand by about 3 to 4 months when we were going to start the project. We are now moving up the timeline of the entire project. We are very, very fortunate to have good banking partners and good lending partners that's going to allow us to borrow the money to secure that immediately. If you are a small business owner and you can work with your current suppliers to stock up a little bit right now, I know it's not good for just in time. Spending money to buy inventory is basically like buying cabbages that are wilting on your shelf. But in this case, I would look at your immediate next few months. Hopefully our trade talks with our partners can come in and our tariffs are lowered back for Canada and Mexico. I think this is a platform for us to talk with to intentionally create some pain. It's going to impact manufacturers. When we suddenly have to pay double the amount of import duties that are coming in, it's going to immediately impact what they have to do. We might see some more job losses. We might see prices go up, forcing inflation. This has directly impacted us. It's going to cause our prices to increase by 19% on 100 grand. That's going to be $105,000. That's going to end up being about 20 grand immediately for zero benefit to us. And it's going to cost us more in the meantime. So this is really critical. We're going to go over how it affects the trading partners, and hopefully trade negotiations will ratchet this down. Also, the EU is stepping up some responses, and I will bring you coverage around that, where the EU is really impacted for steel exports over to us as well. Pretty much the only people unaffected are the United Kingdom, who had pre-negotiated around the tariff, so they are staying at that 25% from March 25th. All right, so what are we doing about this, and how is it impacting us? Well, the first thing is we are in real estate. My company's in real estate, and we are currently expanding a property's self-storage. That self-storage building is made of steel, and we are having our costs go up by 20% if we don't buy materials by Tuesday. So what has happened is they raised prices on steel imports, which the manufacturers immediately had to pass on to our contractor, which our contractor immediately has to pass on to us, unless we buy by Tuesday. So the choice we have is wait past Tuesday, and we were originally going to start the construction like 3 months or 4 months from now. Wait till past Tuesday and pay $120,000 for the same building, for the steel structure. Or right now what we have decided to do is we are going to be pulling a line of credit from the bank and then buy it at $105,000 right now. So that $105,000, our question is, do we wait 3 or 4 months with uncertainty, or do we start paying on the loan even though we're not going to build the building yet? What's the interest that we're going to pay pulling the line of credit early to buy the building, to guarantee we have the supplies, have the materials, so our contractor can start on time, versus what we're going to end up doing, which is waiting to 3 to 4 months, having unknown supply chains, and knowing that we're going to probably be paying over $120,000. So for us, the choice that we're making as a small business is we are going to be buying those materials. We're pulling a line of credit. We've already talked to the bank. Right now, yes, the steel tariffs have gone into place, and there is a week worth of whatever raw materials in the system, and that's why we're able to wait until next Tuesday to buy it. But it's already going to impact our manufacturers in the meantime. So immediately it's hitting them, which is going to hit our contractors, which they have to pass the price on to us. Here's the way the math breaks out. We're pulling the interest early so we can pay. We are paying more on interest on it, but we're going to save ourselves $20,000. Well, over the course of what that means to us, because we're getting a loan for an extra $20,000 over the course of 25 years, means that there's going to be a difference of pay of $150 a month. Okay, well, Hugh, why would you spend 2 or 3 months extra interest to save $150 a month? That's just money that we had to borrow extra to cover the tariff costs. So the breakdown is $150 a month, give or take, over the 12 months a year, over 25 years is $37,500. That's just money that we would have had to pay back. It would have been evaporated out of nowhere. So we saved ourselves 37 grand because we're going to pay for 2 months or 2 to 3 months of interest early. And that's why it's so important, why little changes right now that you as a business owner can do will impact us moving forward. Little stuff like that. I'm not saying you go and do that. I'm saying we are going to do that, and we're looking at other things. Luckily, this is our only construction project right now, but I wanted you guys to have that information. Business owners, are you aware that I have a newsletter down below in the description, and it is full of all the tactics and stuff that if I put it on YouTube, I will be demonetized. It is a weekly newsletter that will go out telling and talking to you guys about the things that will help you and us, our businesses, stay ahead. If you're interested, check the link, click the link below. Now, back to the video. What we're doing is we are spending a line of credit to guarantee, or some cash. If we had the cash in the bank, we would have done that, but we don't have the cash. We're borrowing some to buy a little bit more raw material than we're used to, so we can make sure that we have the supplies to keep the ball rolling. Now, in this case, we were lucky that we were going to be building the building in 3 to 4 months anyways, and so we're buying that material early to save ourselves $20,000. Hopefully, tensions simmer down. More trade negotiations will happen. I think bringing the tariffs back down on steel imports will do 2 things. One, it'll guarantee better trade relations, hopefully with us, because the pain's going to be felt by everybody. It's going to impact manufacturers in the United States, and prices are going to go up overnight. So every fabricator, every distributor, Makar Metals, pretty much all industry in the United States is going to be impacted by the steel tariffs, where it's probably really going to massively impact the oil industry as well. So there is a lot of stuff that this is going to impact. Again, if more news comes out as far as what the EU is going to do in retaliation, or if as trade moves forward, As trade talks move forward, we're going to make it easier and hopefully bring the tariffs back down. But in the meantime, we're going to make the decision on what we have right now, which is, as of yesterday, tariffs doubled. Our suppliers are immediately impacted. It's affecting us immediately, and we are going to do that. Now, the other good thing, because we are competing and we are immediately reacting and doing something about it, not being reactive, but trying to be a little proactive, we're going to be able to outcompete and get ahead of our competitors who are not paying attention. So if you're watching this video, you might be able to make some strategic business moves where you can get an edge, right? I see supply chain bottlenecks happen. I foresee contractors not being able to order materials. I see supply chains running low, and then there being bidding wars so they can get their raw material. And there's going to be some short-term impacts, some immediate short-term impacts that are going to cause a lot of pain. We're hoping to avoid that by going ahead. It's going to cost us money. We're going to pull the line of credit, and we're going to save ourselves $20,000 immediately. At the end of the day, the additional cost, we were going to pay it early, but the additional cost is going to basically be 9% against 100 grand divided by 12. So we would have ended up having to buy that building anyways. We're tacking on 3 extra months of interest to prevent us from paying $20,000. I think the math shook out to be something like $1,500. So we're spending $1,500 extra buying it 3 months early, as opposed to the $20,000 it's going to cost to wait. So that's what we're doing about it. By the way, I've got a newsletter if you want to check down below. It has all the stuff in it that will get me demonetized on YouTube, but I'm just bringing the stuff as you can see them on my office today instead of my normal set. It's because this just happened. We got the call and we're doing something about it. I wanted to quickly film, get this out there in case it helps some business owners out there. And if you like this video, you might like this video better.